Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the which episode is again? 66 episodes of DevKami. yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I've been missing for one last week. So I'm Chilean.
I am Tristan.
And I am not the god of prosperity swimming. I wish I am, but I'm that poor.
Can you bless
You'll
me with
see
a
him
prosperity?
someday. You'll see him doing freelance work as one of these statues.
Yeah, or Christmas, Santa Claus. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So let's start with our events because I do not know what happened with our news.
Yeah.
So anything interesting for next week also?
Next week, there is Ruby meetup, which
Yep.
I think Jimmy did not did not put again on the calendar, but we will put now on the what day is Tuesday next week?
Fourth. It's
Fourth.
actually reserved.
It's not on the calendar though.
It's on the calendar. It's under reserve.
Yeah, but the public calendar is not there.
Oh yeah,
No,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's not there. It's we have to confirm it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess we need to just confirm it because it's happening, and it's at Rapid River, I think. But we will confirm on the calendar.
Then the other one is actually the AWS event recap show. It's actually like Google Dev Fest where they actually recap some of the thing. So this is actually happening on Friday. Custom, I know that place. I used to work with a fintech company that didn't work out, financial education company. Custom is there. CTO is awesome guy, long-time open source people.
What's his name?
Gunesh Raj.
Okay.
So that sounds familiar. Okay.
Yeah. He's been hiding about he's the CTO and all that. Fun story. So either way, they are PJU actually near Paradigm Mall. A bit of distance to try, but not too bad. So that's happening on Friday.
Next week.
Friday.
Right?
Next week.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
and this Saturday, it's not on the calendar, but there is a Java user group meetup at Magic Cyberjaya from 8:30 a.m. So the jug. They say it's a back to basics, so I guess they're starting from the beginning. So if anyone wants to relearn how different Java is now versus many years ago, then that might be an interesting one. I think I talked to you about. I did a refresher on Java, and then everything is like with all of these angle brackets now. I just wanted to instantiate an array, and it's asking me what kind of array is it? Is it an array of like a linked list array or like some kind of whatever array it is? And an array of what? An array of integers or whatever. Like I just want the array to iterate over. But I guess I did Java like way back in 1.3 when it was not it's not even they're naming it differently now. Like Java, it's not actually
there's more quality of life improvement, but it's something to get used to if you're coming as a like old. That when you get used to the old style, it might be a bit of some people like because I have to maintain some people's Java code. So the new style are actually safer, but it's a bit to get used to.
And you have to rely on control or command space a lot now. I guess at least like my previous experience, like you have to autocomplete everything because it's just a pain to type all of those things. You're repeating yourself over and over.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's like a lot of people that still make a living out of Java, or if you're interested in Java and how it looks like right now, or just interested in Java in general, there's one this Saturday. It's the whole day from 8:30 to 4 p.m. I think. lunch is not provided, so you have to bring your own.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting because for some reason people seems thinking that, oh, I'm sorry, eight, I confusing eight and two. No, 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 that's on me. All right.
Yeah.
So that being said, that's pretty much the event of the whole week.
Yeah, because we're still on break, and the 1st of February is actually a public holiday for those that work in KL.
Yeah,
Mm.
if we even work on
Yeah,
Saturday at all,
yeah.
so no change for me. That being said, so what's the news? Anything interesting happened for the past week?
the the virus outbreak.
Oh yeah, actual virus outbreak. Then we had so I discovered this tool called Camerata. It's a video surveillance hacking tool.
do
Mm.
you,
Do not use
do
this
you,
for evil.
do you
Use
Is
it to
it
mind?
check
like
your own network.
is this like the S something? I forgot what was it? The one that scans IoT devices for passwords or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Short
yeah.
Shodan?
Damn it. There's this search. There's this search like IoT. There's this vulnerability scanner that search all your CCTV. But this is a tool that you can run yourself locally.
Mm.
Uh, I used to do help to set up some video streaming. Video streaming is very interesting because one, it's notoriously unsecure. Uh, Seriously, it's not secure at all. So you can literally stream something across and you can intercept it if you know how. And for some, it's a feature because you build CDN out of that. Uh, but and also for some, you only have certain tools that available. You want to do live streaming. I suppose things are a bit easier now because you got these embedded video devices around, but they all use RSTP, RTSP, RSTP, or one more thing I don't remember. It's a while ago. So yeah, video surveillance is notoriously not
Yeah,
secure.
especially like during the year end, there's a lot of like the one of the thing in the news is is a ring being hacked.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, the creepy dude that talked to the little kids.
Yes.
Well, sorry, I'm not aware of this.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna share it.
Okay.
so Ring is a community security thing. So what they sell is a easy to use surveillance video
Oh, so
surveillance.
Amazon Ring, you mean?
Yeah.
Amazon Ring.
They bought it for a company now. It's called
Do you,
Amazon Ring.
do you know about the video?
No. What about the
Okay.
video?
It's really creepy.
So what happened is it's totally not secure. They literally just push it to the market as soon as possible with very small
Uh,
security configuration. And they got a lot of controversy around Ring.
yeah.
One, security issue. Second is the way people use Ring. Because one, they actually share this information to law enforcement, good or
Yeah.
bad. But the thing is, it's not consented. And also, there is
No,
this
but I thought it was
community.
consented, right? Like the ring owners know that they are going to be sent to law enforcement, and apparently they actually share it with each other so that like, oh,
Yeah,
this person was like caught stealing from your neighbor, and then they actually send it.
that's the theory, right? The practice is a bit more complicated because they use it to target someone. As a result,
Mm.
the way they use it is not as good as promised in the US. In fact, Ring also had a user community that uses the technology. So what happened is each community will actually look at the video somehow and report the problem. And often it's really something really innocent, and the only difference is because the person reported are racist. So that's the thing. So Ring had a lot of interesting controversy around. So yeah, you should check it out. It's really interesting. So that's
Mm.
it. Anything else interesting around?
Yeah. Not so much of a good news for the past
Yeah,
week.
turns out that. So the final thing that's very related, grab some mask, face mask. It's not as useful, but better than nothing. Buy a whole bottle of disinfectant. That those kind of viruses
Yeah.
Don't eat bats, for goodness sake.
There's
Okay, that
there's
is partially racist, but I hate bat. So,
there's actually
huh?
fun fact. Do you know in the right in the city center, like just next to Times Square,
Yeah, huh?
there's there's a store that sell bat soup. I've never been there,
Really?
but I passed by it several times.
Uh, so I
Yeah.
actually hate bat because when I was 6, I accidentally stepped on one. Then it
Yeah.
scars me to my till this day.
Yeah.
They say that
So yeah.
bats are like just winged mice or winged
No,
rats. True?
yeah, but
They
no,
are
no.
they are the flying
The problem is
mice.
they're flying. They're
Are,
flying. That's a problem.
are they rodents that just happen to have wings?
No, they're
I
not rodents. They're not
They're not
rodents.
rodents.
They are their
No,
own species.
I mean we just categorize it as dirty as that, but I I'll put pigeon at the same category as well.
Yeah, but I think pigeon is cute. That's
Pigeon and
that's nice.
squirrel.
No,
Squirrel is also
I
like
don't. I think you've been looking at the wrong pigeons. So there's like a few pigeons that roost near my place, and
yeah.
their heads look so deformed. It's like things are growing out, like on their beaks or whatever, or
What?
Yeah,
on
yeah,
their
yeah.
heads.
Oh,
Tumor.
they're the mutants. Pigeons.
Tumor is a problem among pigeons
Yeah,
actually.
Really?
So
like
it
it's horrible up close up. They look nice from afar, but they look horrible when they're close.
yeah.
Okay.
So all these animals are zoonotic
So they're not
carrier
crude.
of
So they
viruses.
are not like those things that you have on turkey. No, not natural.
Yeah.
Or is okay.
But you're saying it's the Miltons of the pigeon
Yeah.
of the,
Yeah.
what do you mean by Miltons?
I
Like
mean,
invented?
are they the are they those or they are just freak growth?
I don't know. Swimming has
Very
more.
likely, very likely it's tumors because animal get cancer and they're
Okay.
outside
Oh,
with toxins and sunlight
Yeah.
and shit.
Okay.
So
yeah.
talk
Swimming,
about
the
viruses.
bird whisperer.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about viruses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
What do
what
you
do
Yeah.
have?
you?
So
What's your first?
yeah, I remember we were talking about that. Like, what was your first virus, computer
Yeah,
virus, right?
yeah.
And
I never did
yeah,
any
speaking of
virus.
viruses, no, I remember mine was brain. Early, like late 80s when I first had my first IBM PC.
Mhm.
It was an interesting thing because like your disk drives are
Oops.
now like the volume labels, right?
Yeah.
In MS DOS, the volume labels change to brain, and then like, what is happening? Doesn't really do anything, and then the, of course you have no idea. There's no internet then. You don't. There's no email. You don't really know what's happening until you buy this like magazine, local computer magazines that talk about, oh, there's this thing called brain, but then you only hear about it like 6 months after you bought it.
How did you get infected? By the way.
We don't know. So I don't know exactly because I didn't even know I had a virus because I didn't know about that until I read a magazine article about viruses. And that's when I found out, oh, I actually had that way back before, and then I don't even know, like, oh, you have to run an antivirus, and of course you have to go to your local piracy shop to get an antivirus, and then you can clean it. But it doesn't do anything until like maybe 5 years, 10 years after. That's when the really hard hitting viruses came. I never really got a very bad case of the virus, but I've heard of some of my friends like having like viruses like popping up and doing all sorts of things on their Windows 3.1 machines. So, but that one I remember because I was surprised that because I read about the same thing, the same exact situation on a magazine. And that's when I
Yeah.
found out, oh, I had actually a virus.
So I don't remember the first one, but I remember it causing a mess. I just cleaned it up. I cleaned it up as in I tried to get some diskette or something. In the end, I don't remember. I guess just reinstall the computer.
Just
Mm.
format it. Just nuke
Yeah,
it.
But
cause
the problem there is you can't really reformat it because if all of your drives are infected, then you can't really boot into a new one, right?
Yeah. But I was not. I didn't. I'm not at the time using my floppy disk is on CD-ROMs, so it's somewhat fine most of
Mm.
the time. Uh, so my last big one, I believe, is actually I believe a computer. I actually got I believe one my old Windows machine. What I got is I think I might get ransomware at that time. I guess I remember. I don't remember when though. Either way, all my files are backup properly. I don't care, so I just need my computer. They're not getting a cent. We do not negotiate with terrorists. But I don't remember big one or early one. But I remember I just cleared deeply my stuff because I don't actually care about my data as much. Believe it or not, because
Hmm.
the important one are on GitHub. The important one on GitHub, the on Facebook or NSA. Okay, maybe not
I wonder if
NSA.
there would be a
Google.
I wonder if there would be a virus that force pushes onto your GitHub repository
I
and
believe there
uses
is
that.
one time, but nowadays malware
Hmm.
attack is very different. So those days, right? Viruses rely on vulnerabilities, which is why you need to open a certain TXT file and all that to
No, you don't
debug.
have to. The first one I got was from the internet. It's an
Yeah,
Okay.
but
adware. So
mm,
it was a cookie injection. So you
Uh
mm,
just need
huh.
to visit the website via IE,
Yeah.
and you get it. How the symptoms are basically you get bombarded with a lot of pop-ups.
Yeah.
mm,
And at that time it was dial up, and it gonna dial to like certain location that gonna cost you like significant
yeah,
amount of money.
Yeah.
Yep.
mm-hmm,
So you don't actually need to click exe. You just need to visit the website,
Yeah.
and when the
Drive-by
script
attack.
is yeah, and when it's executed, you're gonna install things to you. And at that time, these things like they this category of malware like adware and stuff are not being handled by the antivirus softwares.
Yeah.
So at that time, we need to have another like certain like with those malware or adware remover to
Yeah.
do the job instead of antivirus. But nowadays, antivirus is actually the whole package.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Because at one time, the adware cleaner joined the dark side.
Yeah,
I
that's where
remember there's a
we
big.
that's where we get a joke of if you're infected, you're probably visited some shady website. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
in the early days, all the viruses actually
yeah.
rely on applications. It could be games, it could be text file or
I have
whatever.
something
What they
more to add
do?
Not
in as
always
well.
though. Yeah.
In my defense is that it's not that I'm the one who visit who've been visiting all the weird website, but it's actually
Yes.
because at that time like the way how we do social media and web page
Yep.
like GeoCity and stuff is that you're basically doing JavaScript or HTML injections.
Yep.
So the comment section, like let's say you put in some scripts on the comment section and it's gonna be evaluated.
Yeah.
So that's what happened like to one of the website that I hosted. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
people just inject, and it's very silly. Like the world was like literally a wild west. So
Yes.
every comments like we're gonna have our own like fancy comments and everything. That's probably sometimes mess up the style of the whole website.
Yeah.
So that's how people get in. Like security wasn't there. Like it's
oh, it's
it's
like
it's
IoT right now, right?
yeah.
It's a wild west of stuff.
It's a
People,
wild west. You just need to discover it.
yeah, but it's not always like you need an application to host it. Like for example, in my case, Brain, right? You just need a running computer that's already infected, and you insert a floppy disk, and that floppy disk gets infected. So that's
Yeah. That's why
um
you rely on routines on the operating system. It could be floppy disk and all that.
yeah,
Your operating system can be the vector. It relies on
yeah,
something.
not
That's the
necessarily
theory.
not necessarily like initiating an application.
Yeah.
But I
So
think
in this
Yeah.
uh,
case,
but the
it's
categories
almost
yeah, so the
yeah.
categorization of those malware that ride on top of a valid application like an exe or a .com file is a Trojan, right?
Yeah, there's a Trojan, yes. Trojan is one of those things. Yeah, yeah. Then you have viruses that spreads on top of program. It always
Yeah,
comes with some file of worms that do everything by
those are
themselves.
worms. The one from emails are like attachments. They're worms, and then you have
Yeah,
the viruses. And I think
But
yes.
what?
backstage I was asking, why was it called a virus and not a
Yeah.
bacteria?
And also what's the differences between worm and virus?
Bacteria spread on their own. Virus depends on the host to
Hmm.
spread.
So is there
So
ever going to be a computer version of a bacteria?
huh? What?
Is there ever going to be a computer
It's called
version
a
of a
worm.
bacteria?
It's
A
called a
worm.
worm. Yeah,
Hmm.
they call it. For some reason they decide to call it a worm.
Well,
Because
I
you
think
know
the
this
different.
worm.
I mean, this. I think the similarity between the real virus and computer virus is
Yeah,
polymorphism. Like it knows
yeah,
how to mask itself.
yes,
Hmm.
Like like notable viruses are known
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
dormant or
because
specific.
like
yeah,
Brain, for example, checks for a particular boot sector and it
yeah, yeah,
doesn't reinfect the floppy disk if it already has that boot sector. Actually, the earlier antivirus manufacturers, what they do is they vaccinate the floppy disk
yeah.
by writing that same signature without the virus. And so it's exactly the way um, like
How you
our computer
vaccinate?
works, right? How you vaccinate. It's like there's a
Yeah.
Mhm.
copy of a virus and then now you're vaccinated, you're inoculated
Yeah.
against this virus. Maybe that's how everything started. The swimming was going to tell the story of why it's called a virus.
Oh no, no, I already said that. It depends on the host. Virus depends on the host,
Mm.
and so it depends on the host in a way that traditionally, which is why you almost always get it from
Does it
hub.
replicate itself?
You need to do certain thing, but you almost go through files lah.
So
So is it
the
so
okay.
the
It
replication
relies
is
on
this like
something.
the the fork bomb? Is that considered bacteria
No,
then?
no,
No,
no, no,
cancer.
no,
Cancer.
because those things doesn't spread over the network.
I think the
One of the
the
yeah.
perpetrator, the person who did it is the cancer.
The fork bomb, but
So
that's like that's just how it is.
it doesn't spread out to the
Mm.
network. What I
I think
mean,
it doesn't do continuous damage.
yeah,
More,
correct.
more
Mm.
like just press reset button on your computer.
Yeah, precisely. So either way, Morris worm is one of the thing because once it run, it just spread across the network. There's a Morris worm. It's very called worm. It doesn't.
I have a
It may rely on
question.
operating system. Yeah.
The Rans, what category? Which category is like the ransomware belong to? A worm or
I don't
virus?
know, but this is what I suspect that
It
people don't talk
replicates
about.
itself. Nowadays, we
Uh,
just call things as malware, right?
yeah, yeah, because the category between viruses and malware are not really clear nowadays.
Well, malware is like the general
It's not really useful to
category.
categorize nowadays,
It's like
right?
bad software, basically, right? That's why it's malware, bad software.
Yeah, but
Viruses
it's
would be
sometimes spread. Sometimes it runs itself. Sometimes it spread, which is why they can compromise the whole network because those things spread themselves to make it work across the network. What I mean,
hmm.
so
So
which
I
is why
would
I don't
say
think.
like ransomware might be like so the vector or like the way it travels would be through a Trojan. Let's say, okay, download
Yeah,
this executable, run it, and it displays a cat picture, but actually installs a program that encrypts all of your files instead. And yeah,
yeah,
so
then it spread over.
it is malware, but it was through a Trojan how it was spread.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So which goes to the point. I don't think classification of that is useful as communicating the idea anymore. It might be useful for the professionals, but maybe they don't even look at that and look at vulnerabilities by itself.
Mhm.
I mean, so that's the thing, right? I'm not a security expert. It's hard for me to
Um,
describe
I'm
that.
actually
I have no
looking at the
idea.
Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
Apparently, there are good intent but computer worm like
yes.
like the Nachi worm. They basically exploit window vulnerability, so they can update the windows and patch the security for you.
Yes,
Mm.
those
I think it's
exist.
the same. It's it's similar to the to that hacker that went through Shodan and got all of those devices and hacked into them so that he can change the default password or
Yeah,
something.
yes.
I think one of the
Uh,
first computer virus, what's the name again? Was the he was trying to ping the internet, right?
I don't know.
um,
Quick.
Viruses were before internet days.
yeah, but worms definitely comes from the. It's a
Yeah.
network research lab. Maurice Worm definitely comes from the research lab
Mhm.
that studies the internet.
Yeah.
The idea is for how do you make something that spread and self-install and stuff. Really,
Yeah. The most recent one that is like also it can be part of a cyber warfare. The
yeah,
most notorious one, the most also most recent one is the Stuxnet,
yeah,
which is
Mhm.
really horrible if you read about it. It
yes,
Is
scares
that
like
for the nuclear center? Was that the
yeah
one for the
yeah
centrifuge?
it yep.
yes,
It's very complex and like probably our computer has it, but because we don't run a nuclear centrifuge like refining centrifuge, so it probably won't do any harm to
Active.
us. Yeah,
Yeah, it won't
even though
activate.
like yeah, activate even when it's activated, it will look like the sabotage as sort of like probably sometimes an accident or equipment malfunction instead of like just straight up just kill your system. And I mean
Mhm.
those are really high profile kind of sort of effects, but more
Yeah, so the
subtle like
idea is not detected,
yeah
but to sabotage enough that you can't enrich nuclear material,
yeah
but at the same time not to be detected and have like basically point a finger at equipment
yeah
malfunction or something.
yeah.
yeah,
It gonna it gonna infect all the way through until it can
Mhm.
find the target and activate when it detected certain like signature.
Mhm. What do you know why Norton was the most famous antivirus company back then?
I don't know.
That's
It's one of
they're
a
the
the
lot
only
of
one.
it,
first.
I suspect a lot of it is marketing because,
Also, I think it's one
uh,
of the first.
yeah, it's one of the earliest. They actually have it during the DOS days. Uh, there's a few, but Norton is the first one, and they're the one that's pretty aggressive when it comes to marketing. Every computer
Mhm.
magazine will have a demo once in a
Mm.
while, and they continue to do that until late 90s, maybe early 2000s,
I think some of their
before,
products are pretty used to be pretty well used, like
yeah,
some
correct,
the disk cloner,
yes.
the backups.
Oh, and
But
Um,
the no
yeah,
the disk defragmenter. I think they did defragmenter, right?
yeah, but their Windows already had a disk defragmenter, but the more interesting one is actually the
No, not
disk
that's
duplicator.
before 3.1. They didn't have any.
yeah, the old
Yeah,
ones.
yes. So they
So
do a
I
lot
think
of
they got
system
it 98,
tools.
right?
Yeah,
Oh, no, no,
don't
wait, no. They had it. They had the DOS version.
Not 95.
So
yeah don't do it on your SSD drive nowadays.
mhm,
Yeah,
okay.
It's
don't
still
get on it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna kill your
So
drive.
nowadays
You
your
still need to defrag your 4 terabyte drive.
Yeah,
no,
Why?
regularly.
Why not? I mean, the idea is still correct, right? The contiguous, especially on a 4 terabyte archival drive, if it becomes fragmented, then you should like
I don't think your
uh
archive. I don't
replace
think your
blocks.
archival will change that much.
correct. So that's the point.
I think
Uh
as I think also like on if you defragmented it once and the drive doesn't change that much, also it doesn't have that much of fragments.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think
Because
fragments only works like the. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how true it is, but I feel that it doesn't happen to SSD.
No,
as
it
much
doesn't.
Modern
because
net file system,
it was to
modern net
make
file
up,
system,
yeah, it was to make the lookup much faster on a spinning
yeah,
media.
drive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because as you delete a file, you actually leave holes in your sectors on a drive. That's a theory. But nowadays, your modern file system can already help you optimize the space nowadays.
I just check out my Windows one. It actually, yeah,
Yeah,
apparently it does it like in the background as a schedule
yeah,
task.
yeah.
So it's
Because
still different.
NTFS can
So
do
you
it.
don't have
Yeah,
to run it manually. Can you
yep,
still run it manually?
yeah, but I
Yes.
don't want to. I don't.
I mean, for all time's sake, like watch the blocks thing.
Yeah,
But
uh, and
so
watch. Yeah.
also Norton antivirus at that time had a lot of system tools. So nowadays we just never heard of it anymore. Uh, we just never heard of this kind of tools because it's already market
Oh,
already.
updates is that let me show you guys the screen.
Yeah.
What is
It's
this?
uh, it apparently if you can see it, apparently it doesn't for SSD. It just run the trim instead of a defragment.
Yeah.
So if you notice, it's a trim.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a defragmentation like the old way. So it's actually won't kill your drive. I think.
Yeah, you don't need to defragment it
Yeah.
because it's random access anyway.
Yeah, your file system can handle it well
Yeah.
enough and all that. So it's something from the last century, literally. Because
Hmm.
those days the hard disk is slow and all that. So yeah.
Why are you
Yeah.
dropping things?
My bottle, my water
Yeah.
bottle.
You have to stop fidgeting.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sleepy. That's the thing. I hate Chinese New Year, just so you know.
Why? Why?
So,
Why?
what's the quarantine situation? And because we're doing parallels between viruses and like
So
real life viruses, right?
yeah,
So, what's the
so in the
purpose
real
of quarantine
world,
in the first place?
the theory is not wrong, but it's not effective. So the theory is if you limit a group of people, a movement of people, you will not spread the disease to other people. That's the theory. It's the same reason why you have leper colony in the old days in isolated area. It's very hard to be accessed. It's so that people do not with leprosy do not get out and infect other people because
Yeah.
uh, leprosy,
Yep.
polio,
There's actually
infectious.
a leprosy center near my place.
Yes,
I think there's
yes,
one person left.
yeah. But nowadays it's treatable, so it's just a place where people just stay.
Yeah.
You know that. Uh, the whole idea is to limit your access, limit infection. But the world is a bit more complicated than software. In the early day 80s, you spread your virus using floppy disks. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
floppy disks. Once you have internet, once you have internet, then the vector got a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
Um, you got sharewares, Google shareware that happens all the time.
You probably
Then,
well, next you probably
then
have JavaScript malware.
yeah, then JavaScript. Before they actually sandbox that.
That there's
The
like
reason
a gig kind of a file size. So
Yes, then some one reason why Apple actually killed off Flash is because Flash had their own vulnerability. People used that as a vector before,
no,
so you
I
have
think
emails.
I think
Yes,
Flash just like Java applet is that it can access the whole system.
yeah,
So, but
Or like
Microsoft is
active
one. Yeah,
extensions.
ActiveX. Microsoft is like one of the champions
yeah,
for this kind of
WebAssembly is happening, right? And
yeah.
yeah.
um,
But
But
that's
the
yeah.
file
But
Google
system
WebAssembly is
played
is a
with
sandbox.
sandbox.
Google played with sodium chloride, like NaCl, like native Chrome, I
Client,
think, or
native client.
something. Native client, yeah, native client, NaCl. So they were playing with that. Apparently, it's a really important thing, but you just need to the take it hand in hand with the security issues that it brings.
Hmm.
People
Then
are trying it.
yeah, somewhat early days, the way Office do shared directory using, because somehow we use that Windows sharing, that is
Mhm.
dangerous as hell. So I remember one of my work, the whole office got infected because of that.
What?
So you get with network, you just have a lot more way to infect things now. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, Active
Yeah, it's
Directory,
pretty scary because normally we don't protect against the intranet.
Yeah. So as a result,
internal networks.
and one of the legacy from that is people already had the mindset that say Windows are not secure. Okay, which is when the Apple try to sell that. Uh, Unlike Windows, their stuff is secure, right? That's one
Yeah,
of the
but
things that Apple try to
same
sell.
same with the Linux people, right? They say Linux is secure.
Yeah. But yes, precisely. But the Linux guys doesn't work because we don't have the hardware manufacturer do not prioritize Linux for desktop. Our
It
sales
doesn't.
pitch are
It,
horrible.
it doesn't work because of the fragmentation.
Hmm.
Apparently, they call everything
Yeah.
fragmentation.
Which
Uh,
version of libc are you running again?
yeah, precisely. So and also you have I don't know. I don't like the word fragmentation because it's a marketing term against opposition.
Okay.
Sure, you got different version of stuff, but come on. Uh,
Let's
the
call it
like
freedom because of freedom.
Yeah, or choices and whatever, right? But that's what it is. So what else? So either way, Windows, a lot of it Windows at that time, right? As a result, Windows had a reputation of not secure. I don't think it's as true anymore because some of the default tools are not too bad actually.
Well,
Just don't do
there's still
stupid things.
a lot of worms still spreading around on Microsoft Word and PowerPoint presentations.
Yeah, the
Like,
Yeah.
targeting
although
that, and
if you're
yeah,
using Google Sheets or like Outlook or any of the online uh, web mail
yeah,
clients, then you're usually protected because they do the scan themselves, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if
But
yeah.
you
I
still use
I think that
like mail or whatever,
the general best practice is to ask them to upload to a cloud service,
Yes, and
like the
yeah,
and then
that's
document
download
actually
from
management.
there,
true.
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
I
Mega.
mean
so
not
Mega
mega,
is still around.
more like not mega, but more like use Google Drive or
yeah,
360
Dropbox,
or 365. I have no idea.
yeah, then
Box something,
Dropbox, whatever.
box.com.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean um like reputable cloud
yeah,
drives
yeah.
like
yeah,
Mega.
No, cloud document manager or cloud.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I
So and
can't
nowadays,
put my DVD drive there. The movie is too large. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
streaming?
the vector, ironically, it's fewer. Uh, why do I say that? Uh,
I think because browser
uh,
is generally more safer.
yeah. We do more and more things on the
Yeah.
browser,
And we don't use IE
and
anymore.
yes, and I mean, think about it. How often you get a malware from Steam?
So it depends on
uh,
what you define as malware, right?
Search root.
What was the Wikipedia
No.
definition of malware?
DRM, yes. Steam is a bloody DRM, right? It's a bloody DRM, game distribution system are DRM. So
Yeah.
Steam, Epic Store, those are DRMs.
So
If
in
you
a
look
way,
at that,
GPG is quite
DRM
okay.
actually protects you.
uh,
Well,
okay, let's move one step of that later. One step of that later, right? One step of that later.
Simi is
But
avoiding the questions.
no, I will go through that. I will definitely go through that because
streaming has
it goes to my
strong
favorite topic
feelings
of
on your
I have strong feeling for general purpose computation. Okay,
mm,
uh, and I mean it.
Do you
Uh,
consider your browser a general purpose computer device?
yeah, it's Turing complete. Problem. Those things are They're running a Turing complete language. and can draw stuff. So yeah. Okay. On a serious note, right? We do more and more stuff online. So we don't torrent movie as often anymore because there's so many choice on
I still
Netflix.
torrent movie because I don't want to subscribe to 10 services. Not
Yeah.
movies, but more like
TV
TV
series and all
series.
that.
Yeah, movies are not so much.
Yeah,
Correct.
if it's not on Netflix, it's most likely pirated because why are you not on Netflix?
Yeah,
Like, Orion, why are
it's
you
on
not on
you.
Netflix?
And
Yes.
Prime Video in Malaysia sucks. The video delivery is horrible.
Yeah.
In case anybody is listening.
Yes. And also, but nowadays, you get it from if you download stuff from legally questionable site, you may get it, but you get the chances of getting it is less and less because we don't share CDs, we don't open attachment
Yeah,
directly. Your email
and
client,
and also your operating system doesn't try to run whatever that you plug in immediately.
correct. So it used to be CD autorun is a real big issue. Uh, Not anymore because you just don't install
I'm not
stuff
sure.
using DVD
I'm not sure
anymore.
if you had those. Do you own any music album from Sony Music?
No.
Mm.
They actually if you put it in the computer, they actually rely on us. You can auto put up a program
Yeah.
so you can listen to your music. It's actually
Mm.
DRM protected.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Still
But
repeat. You can
it's on
still
a CD
repeat.
player.
It's no. It's actually if you do it legally, you actually cannot read the CD.
Oh.
You have to rely on the software that it provides. That
Hmm.
call home. I think it's they did it for 1 or 2 years, but I'm lucky that I have one of them. So, but it's still you can still rip it if you want to.
Yeah. So and then nowadays the operating system have to Windows don't have that, Linux don't have that, but don't have that as much. But uh, on Mac, for example, you have to sign your application. On Android as well, but Android the thing is they are a bit lax. Apple is a bit more strict. You have to sign application before you can install your
Yep.
stuff on
That's
your
what
iPhone OS and all
Windows.
that.
That's what Windows were trying to do. That
Correct.
made WAF not so happy about things
Yes.
during Windows 8.
Yes. And signature is really important because it trusts. You see, problem is here's the problem. The problem is this also give manufacturer to only allow a blessed set of developer to do things, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so you may granted a temporary thing for you to do your own tests and all that. Maybe I don't know, but to distribute your software, you must be blessed by the
No,
manufacturer.
you it's fine to distribute like there is a not honest like if you want it to be on the official one, you have to be
Yeah,
signed, but it's fine to compile it and put it on GitHub downloads.
yeah,
But isn't it the same story for secure boot when like with Intel and Microsoft,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Secure Boot have this problem until it looks so bad that
Yeah,
Microsoft had to give the key to the open source operating system to work.
it's
Well, not
secure,
all of them.
secure
It's
is
like
horrible.
it's just a few distro manufacturers. If you're spinning your own thing, like if you do Linux from scratch, for example, then
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
Yeah,
Like you don't have the
yeah,
key.
and
that's
if you try to turn it on and you don't have the right key, your driver
yeah,
won't boot. Like just
Yeah.
what happened
yes,
to my Linux computer.
correct. But the theory is Secure Boot helps you to protect you against malware that installs on the BIOS. There's a few of those. There's a
I think
theory,
the
right?
problem is because no, I mean because of all these stakeholders, they cannot reach an agreement on who.
Yeah,
I mean because everybody wants to be the boss.
yeah, correct.
Mhm.
Because anybody that can control Secure Boot actually control who have access to the platform.
Yeah.
And Microsoft can actually, if not because the big fiasco out of that, they can actually block open source operating system from running on the PC. So it is
I think for
that
the
bad.
longest time they've been doing it. Like you can't really. I think there are few computers before that you cannot run Linux on because the Macs, for example, some Macs you cannot run Linux
Yeah,
on because the. I think the more recent ones as well. You can't run Linux because of the chip thing, the
correct. A
T2.
TPM.
Is it T2? Yeah, because
It's called a TPM chip.
have
The
chips,
category
right?
is called TPM chip. Technical protection measure, TPM.
Yeah, the T2
Uh,
chip. I think what's Susan trying to say.
so
Yeah.
yes,
No, I mean it's happening again. It's exactly what you're saying that um, they're preventing alternative operating systems from running on the platform because if you can control the boot mechanism, then you
yeah,
control whatever else runs.
correct.
And
But it does
Apple
make
is
your
doing it
system
on the
safer.
PCs.
It does make your computer safer, right?
Safer, but it doesn't protect you from when people want to exploit you, like when targeted attack, because all these
Yeah,
things are the it, when one thing like when let's say secure boot is the security, the weakness is the secure boot. So if it's once it's broken, it's literally opened.
yeah.
So
So now you have,
just like how the FBI can just recently crack open somebody's phone
yeah,
with their own tool instead of relying on Apple to do it for them.
yes. So yeah, so now these things are tools of control, right? So one may argue that end user don't care, but when we started computing, we don't use it as an end user. Uh,
You know, I think
First,
it's
Is
the
we
this
same.
use it.
so are you saying this is the control thing is about DRM as well, right?
Uh, so actually, what I'm trying to say is DRM, those secure boot and all that, TPM, all that consider some form of DRM,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so in this case, it protect us, but also means you delegate control, but the way they control it often are good for their business, but not necessarily good for our knowledge. Yeah, here you are. I'm sharing a link right now. This is actually a old article, uh, old video. But
Where are you sharing it to?
no, I'm trying to find the link. It's by Cory Doctorow. Uh, I'm going to share
Is
it here
is
first,
he
then
a
we share it
doctor?
live. No, he's not a doctor, but he's a science fiction author. The problem, and he also worked for Boing Boing. Problem, I like him because we share the same thought about a computer rights and all that, but his story is very rampy. It's very preachy because it's like Stallman, but not as extreme, right? So yeah, so computer uh, signature actually helps make sure your only certain thing can run, but the catch is also a way to control you from doing things. So that's the moral here.
And it doesn't
So
stop like the reason why they like just like for let's say DRM for video delivery
yeah,
or for video games, they still don't stop people from pirating.
yeah,
But
precisely.
it's also when it's pirated, it doesn't. I mean, it's cracked, but it doesn't mean that people will not buy like the originals. Like just like nowadays, it's
Yes,
so cheap on Steam. Everything is so
Mm-hmm.
cheap
yes.
on Steam.
So what really stop people from what really make piracy hard? Here's an interesting trend that I see. Notice that there's no more illegal CD shop nowadays or DVD
Yeah,
shop.
you're in the
Be-
wrong place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
I can
it's
bring you.
true.
Around no
I
no
can
no.
bring you. I can bring you
I
to
saw
the.
it in Penang. I saw it in Penang, but in a place in KL where we don't actually have a lot of our internet is relatively good and all that. Notice that you don't see as many those kind of game shop anymore. Uh, Part of the reason for especially part of the reason is uh, download is cheap, and the second reason is game sale is cheap. They can give you 80% discount. It's not DRM. It's the
It's,
fact that it's just the cheap to buy. It's easy and
yeah.
cheap to buy.
But
So
I
that's
think
the
I
main one.
well not games. So games, yes, but I still find a lot of CDs of Photoshop or of Windows or
Yeah,
Microsoft
yeah, yeah.
Office. A lot of
Those
those.
things are still expensive. Those things are still unfortunately very expensive.
They're
But
actually very cheap. If you know where to
really,
find, sorry. Yep.
yeah,
Semi
people would
legal, but still
use.
legal.
Yeah, people would still use. People would are more accepting toward Photoshop.
A very common Photoshops. I mean, Photoshops and those that are nowadays on cloud. So
Yeah,
those that you can buy on the CD are most likely the old versions.
yeah,
Mm.
And Windows, most people they bypass it. Also, like Windows, Microsoft almost give it for you for free.
They just have a
Eh,
watermark or something saying this needs to be activated or whatever, right? But it's
yeah,
almost functional.
almost
yeah.
functional.
Uh,
And yeah, and I'm not gonna share it here, but they are. If you know how to look around, you can get a license key for very cheap, legal one.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh
Where do they get this? Like all of the, is it the volume licensing?
yeah, they are the no, they are the OEM license.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Basically, distributors or reseller abusing the convenience. They get a key. I mean, they get a bunch of keys. They can request a bunch of keys for to build computers.
Mm-hmm.
And the very noticeable difference is that when you change any, like, let's say your motherboard, the key is going to be invalid because it's locked to your hardware signature. So that's
Mm-hmm.
an ORM key, and you can
Yeah,
get it for really cheap. Like, depends how cheap you want to get. It's really cheap, like few
yeah,
bucks, kind of cheap. Yeah, and it's
Because
legal actually.
I remember I had this Azure startup thingy
Yeah,
pack
bits
MSDN.
spark. Yeah,
Yeah, this part, like they're just giving away Windows
yeah.
licenses, Office
They
licenses, SQL
they
Server licenses for
yeah,
free.
they give every license from their first product for
Yeah,
free, like including Windows 3.1 and yeah,
yeah.
all of them.
I was really sad because it expired and I was already preparing to like download all the keys for Windows 7 and Windows
Yeah,
7 and Windows 8 and 8.1, all of those things, because I know they will eventually be converted to Windows 10, but I wasn't
yeah,
able to download all of
yeah.
those. So it's yeah. And for swimming,
yeah.
I think Windows is a virus for him, right?
Nah, I use it. I use it for games. I do develop on it. I can
Yeah.
develop on it. Not my first choice, but it's a choice.
What do
The
you use
IO
it? Yeah,
mm,
what do you develop with on Windows?
Uh,
games.
so so my okay. So I'm primarily a Python developer, right? Before
Mm,
Anaconda exists, I use Active State Python. That is actually very well supported.
Mm,
mm-hmm.
Uh, then at one time I use the MinGW. It's a Unix environment of Windows, but I don't rely
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
on that much
And if you want
because
Sigwin as well,
yeah,
Oh, but then
because
you
at
have to
that time
TTL your code, right? If you link to it.
yeah, but after a while PowerShell is usable. I know some PowerShell trick. Then Anaconda comes in and then do some pretty good job. Even Git, you probably want to get it from GitHub instead of Git himself. Uh, Windows is actually very usable for development now, especially now, because you got SSH
yeah.
support.
The downside is the IO is still pretty horrible.
Not on. I'm not talking about using the
DSL?
Linux
Yeah.
subsystem. I'm talking directly on Windows. It's generally still mostly fine. Just be very careful about file system, but you got library to
Yeah,
handle that already.
and also line termination.
Yeah, correct. So also databases and all that. It's very minor, so I know enough to how to work around with it. If I did C and all that, then there is ways to install it and it's usable. It's generally usable. It's usable for me. It's not usable for most people. Most people think it's annoying, but
Game
I know how to
dev.
get
I
around
mean,
it.
the first thing that I need Windows for is game dev, even though I don't do it much.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like most
I
of
use
In
the
fact,
yeah. In fact,
yeah.
you said in
yeah,
fact.
who swimming.
Swimming said in
Oh,
fact.
so uh, you want to do game, Windows is unfortunately is still the way to go. Unity editor is still only usable
Yeah,
on Windows.
Yeah,
Uh,
pretty.
I saw on the news in general that Rocket League switched to DirectX, and so it has the
Correct.
drop support for Mac
Yeah,
and Linux. So
I
why would
think
they
that's the
do that?
official. I think that's the official excuse because the weird thing is DirectX doesn't work on their console product, and they did not discontinue those.
Hmm.
they're bought by Epic.
Correct. That's the main reason. But that being said, uh, Vulkan was is only until recently OpenGL is a real competitor to
Wait,
DirectX in
sorry.
terms
So
of feature and game development.
Epic bought the Rocket League developers,
Yep,
and so
Yep.
that means Rocket needs to be under the Epic Game Store, and
yep,
Epic
They already
doesn't run on
discontinued
Linux and
that.
Mac.
yep,
Is that the reason why?
yep.
That's
That's
the
Mm-hmm.
official reason.
that's the general feeling.
Yeah, because if they're going to focus on DirectX 9, why are they not
11.
discontinuing the console product? Because the console product do not use DirectX unless you're
Yeah,
talking about Xbox.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I talk about console product, I'm talking about the
and they are.
Switch, the PS4,
I
and all
mean, and
that.
they are on an engine like they. It's not like they write their own engine. They are on Unreal,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
so they can choose any target they want, or do and have an abstraction of whatever target they want.
So technically, they will
and
be switching to DirectX. They're just choosing the radio button. It says
Yeah,
X DirectX.
yeah,
yeah,
and
Okay.
Unreal Engine runs on Linux, believe it or not, and Mac and all that directly without
yeah.
port. So there's no big change for that.
It's getting harder for Mac because they're straying towards their own platform nowadays.
Yeah, Metal. Yeah.
Yeah,
So again, you see,
I like the direction where like people are generally moving towards Vulcans,
yeah,
as you know, like most of the indie development, like those indie games and also like emulators,
yeah,
they are more focusing on Vulcan because it's general,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gonna be supported by Apple
yeah. Apple
Wait,
will choose
Vulkan,
for
why not?
Metal,
because Apple
which
doesn't want to be part of it.
yeah,
Mm,
they
They are
insist
actually ports.
that, yeah,
There are people that port it to support like sort of a bridge between Metal and Vulkan, but it's like,
yeah.
actually just an abstraction layer.
mm,
So
So
yeah,
yeah, it's like DirectX actually. It's like DirectX. Apple want to do their own thing because they think they're big enough, they can go their own. Okay,
mm.
so
no, it's actually like DirectX.
yeah, it's precisely right. But the thing is, the game engine makers can abstract those out, but
Yeah,
depends on whether they want to. So that's
So they
why,
have
and
like the game
yeah,
engine makers have to because they're being paid to do that, right? Like
yeah,
that was their promise that you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
do
yeah,
it
yeah.
yeah,
once and then you can deploy to all these systems.
Correct,
yeah.
correct. And they can because architecture wise, if they can port to
We can
different hardware, they can possibly do that.
we can actually spend an episode to talk about it because I sort of
Yeah,
it's actually very funny about like game development because it's very different from like your desktop and your or mobile development. It's very different.
yes.
So
So
Yeah.
that's in the future.
that's in the future.
What uh
Yes.
what what do we have on our live chat?
That's,
Oh, there's a
nothing.
boing boing
Yeah, it's
thing.
Nicholas. Yeah, Point. No, Boing Boing is actually the one that
Yes.
Swimming showed.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's a talk by Cory Doctorow
Mm-hmm.
about the war of general purpose computation.
Yeah, I think Tristan also need to rewatch the episode because you have to listen to your own voice.
Really? Am I
Yeah,
a chipmunk again?
yeah. No,
What?
it's
Yes,
slightly high pitch today.
Okay,
yes,
I'm
I
not sure
believe.
what's up with my audio today.
Did somebody release some weird guess? Helium?
um,
Oh no, helium make you like Donald Duck.
yeah.
It's something else.
Right, I think that's about
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Yeah.
let's
So good.
try to come up with something for next week.
I
Yes.
hope to do more interview. We hope to do more interview.
Yeah,
It's sucked to have us
I
just
need to
talking
approach
to talking.
several people to.
Yeah, so
We'll
many
we'll get.
people.
Why don't you get some of your coworkers?
Whom? Swimming.
Anyone? Yeah,
I only have.
swimming.
I don't have any
Swimming.
coworker. I don't have any coworker that want to talk. Like
What?
Yeah,
you.
most of
Well,
us
you
are
can talk.
share.
Ask them, and then they'll talk.
Yeah, yeah.
We
You can
have
ask.
we have a
You
few
can.
guys there.
My yeah. You know my coworker. Like just it's basically
Yeah,
literally my boss. So you just ask him on the chat.
Mm,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Let's see,
all
let's
right.
see, let's see.
Let's see.
So see you people.
Yeah. See you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye. Good night.
And